Curiosity piqued by military might? Let's embark on a rather unconventional journey, exploring the flip side of the coin, the top 15 weakest armies in Africa. What makes them tick, or rather, not tick, as efficiently? Our first stop? Benin and Somalia. While the word weakest might paint a picture of ineptitude, there's much more beneath the surface. Ready to delve into this less-traveled path of military discourse? Number 1. Benin. Tucked away in West Africa, Benin's military landscape is a fascinating study of modesty and focus. With a military that is relatively small and underfunded, Benin's approach is less about might and more about maintaining internal stability and contributing to peacekeeping missions. This is not a tale of an army beleaguered by battles and conquests, but rather a narrative of a force attuned to the nuances of internal security and regional stability. Benin's military strategy is reflective of its geopolitical and economic realities. The country's focus on internal security can be seen as a pragmatic approach in a region often marred by instability. This strategic choice has its roots in Benin's history and cultural ethos, which prioritize diplomacy and peace over aggressive military posturing. By channeling resources into peacekeeping and internal security, Benin stands as an example of a country adapting its military might to its national needs and regional responsibilities. Furthermore, the modest size of Benin's army is a conscious choice, echoing a broader trend in Africa where some nations prioritize other areas of development over military expansion. This, however, should not be mistaken for weakness. The Beninese military's involvement in peacekeeping reflects a commitment to regional stability, showcasing how strength is not always measured in numbers or firepower, but in the ability to contribute positively to the broader community. It's a different kind of strength, subtle yet impactful. Number 2. Somalia. Somalia's military narrative is one intertwined with challenges and resilience. Placed at the second spot among Africa's weakest armies, Somalia's story is not just about military capability, but also about the complexities of internal conflict and geopolitical struggles. The Somali armed forces, historically robust, have faced decades of turmoil, significantly impacting their current state. The ongoing conflict with al-Shabaab militants, coupled with internal factional divisions, has severely hampered Somalia's military effectiveness. Despite foreign aid and training efforts, the Somali military struggles with issues of corruption, lack of adequate funding, and equipment shortages. These challenges are symptomatic of broader issues within the country, including political instability and the legacy of clan-based militias that have fragmented the nation's military cohesion. However, in the face of these adversities, the Somali military's efforts to rebuild and reform are noteworthy. With approximately 15,000 active personnel spread across the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Police Force, there is a concerted effort to re-establish a cohesive national military force. International support from countries like Turkey, China, and the United States has been crucial in this endeavor, providing both material and training assistance. Somalia's military journey is a testament to the intricate relationship between a nation's stability and its military strength. It highlights how internal conflicts and external support can shape a military's capabilities. In Somalia's case, the weakness of the military is not just a reflection of its current state, but also a narrative of its tumultuous past and its ongoing journey towards stability and reconstruction. Number 3. Liberia. The tale of Liberia's military is one woven with the threads of its tumultuous history and the challenges of rebuilding in a post-conflict era. Ranked among the weakest militaries in Africa, the Liberian Armed Forces story is not just about its current limitations, but also about a nation's struggle and resilience in the face of adversity. Liberia, emerging from the shadows of a prolonged civil war, has seen its military capabilities significantly diminished. The conflicts that ravaged the nation not only depleted its resources, but also left deep scars, making the rebuilding process arduous. The Liberian military, once a force to reckon with, now grapples with challenges including inadequate training, limited equipment, and funding shortfalls. These issues are not just logistical, but are deeply rooted in the nation's journey towards peace and stability. Post-conflict reconstruction in Liberia has placed a considerable strain on its military development. The focus has been on re-establishing internal stability and rebuilding national institutions, including the military. With a total active personnel count of just over 2,100, the Liberian military's composition is modest, consisting of an infantry brigade, an air wing, and a coast guard. The scale of the force is reflective of Liberia's current priorities and the challenges it faces in military expansion. International support has been pivotal in aiding Liberia's military redevelopment. Efforts have been directed towards training and equipping the military to better address internal security challenges and to contribute to regional stability. The transformation of the Liberian military is ongoing, with an emphasis on professionalizing the force and enhancing its operational capabilities. Liberia's military story is one of rebuilding and reformation. It underscores the complex interplay between a country's historical context, its path to recovery, and the evolving role of its military in safeguarding national and regional security. Number 4. Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone's military landscape is a testament to the resilience and challenges of a nation recovering from the ravages of civil war. The Sierra Leone Armed Forces, counted among Africa's weakest, depict a narrative of a military in the process of rebuilding and overcoming significant challenges. The devastating civil war in Sierra Leone, which ended in the early 2000s, left the nation with a fragmented and weakened military infrastructure. The aftermath of the war saw the military grappling with numerous challenges, including a lack of resources, corruption, and a need for professional training. With an active military personnel of about 13,000, the Sierra Leonean military has been working towards rebuilding its capabilities, though progress has been slow and fraught with challenges. The post-war period in Sierra Leone has been marked by efforts to restructure and reform the military. The focus has shifted towards developing a more professional and capable force that can address the country's security needs while also contributing to regional peacekeeping initiatives. However, resource constraints, including inadequate funding and outdated equipment, have been significant obstacles in these efforts. International support and training initiatives have been crucial in aiding Sierra Leone's military development. Partnerships with countries like the United Kingdom and the United States have provided much-needed assistance in terms of training and equipping the military. These collaborations have been essential in enhancing the operational capabilities of the Sierra Leonean forces, particularly in areas such as peacekeeping operations. Sierra Leone's journey towards rebuilding its military is reflective of its broader path to recovery and nation-building. The challenges faced by the military are not just a measure of its current state, but are deeply intertwined with the nation's history and its aspirations for a stable and secure future. The Sierra Leonean military story is one of ongoing transformation, underlining the complexities of post-conflict reconstruction and the critical role of international cooperation in enhancing military capabilities. Number 5. Central African Republic. The Central African Republic, CAR, presents a unique case in the study of military strength and capability in Africa. Placed among the continent's weakest militaries, the CAR's armed forces, FASA, reveal a complex interplay of internal conflicts, political instability, and limited resources that have significantly impacted their effectiveness and development. The CAR has been embroiled in a series of conflicts and political upheavals that have deeply affected its military. The recurring internal strife, notably the civil war that began in 2012, has not only drained the nation's resources but also fractured its military structure. This turbulence has led to a military that is often caught in the crossfire of internal power struggles, hindering its ability to function as a cohesive and effective force. With an estimated 10,000 active personnel, the CAR's military is hampered by a plethora of challenges. Corruption, lack of proper training, and inadequate equipment are just a few of the hurdles that the FASA faces. These challenges are further compounded by the nation's limited financial resources, making it difficult to invest adequately in military infrastructure and personnel. International support has been a critical component in attempts to stabilize and rebuild the CAR's military capabilities. However, despite these efforts, the FASA continues to struggle with operational and logistical constraints. The reliance on international support for security has underscored the military's limitations and the broader challenges the nation faces in establishing a stable and self-sufficient defense system. The story of the Central African Republic's military is one of a force trying to find its footing amidst ongoing turmoil. It highlights the profound impact that prolonged internal conflict and political instability can have on a nation's military capabilities, and the challenges in rebuilding and reforming a military in such a context. Number 6. Mauritania. Mauritania's position on the video of Africa's weakest militaries is reflective of the myriad challenges faced by the nation in terms of military development and security management. The Mauritanian armed forces, while modest in size, have been grappling with resource limitations and the demanding task of addressing internal security concerns and regional threats. Mauritania's military, comprising approximately 31,540 active personnel and a paramilitary force of 5,000, has historically played a significant role in the country's internal dynamics, including political interventions and coups. This involvement in domestic politics has had both direct and indirect impacts on its development and operational capacity. The nation's military strength has been further strained by the need to combat terrorism and manage cross-border threats, particularly from the Sahel region. The resource limitations faced by Mauritania's military are a significant hindrance. Despite a budget of around $231 million, the armed forces face challenges in modernizing and adequately equipping themselves. The dependence on foreign suppliers from countries such as France, Russia, China, the United States, Spain, and Morocco is indicative of the challenges in self-sufficiency and the need for external support to maintain operational capabilities. Moreover, Mauritania's geographical positioning and the nature of security threats in the region require a military that is versatile and capable of addressing a range of challenges, from counter-terrorism to border security. However, the lack of investments in training and equipment has limited the effectiveness of the Mauritanian armed forces in these roles. Mauritania's military story is one of navigating the complexities of internal and regional security challenges with limited resources. It highlights the need for strategic investments in military capability, not just in terms of equipment and budget, but also in training and institutional development, to enhance national security and contribute to regional stability. Number 7. Gabon. Gabon's position among Africa's weakest militaries is a reflection not just of its military capabilities, but also of the country's unique geopolitical stance and internal priorities. Despite its relative political stability and wealth from oil resources, Gabon has maintained a relatively small and less extensively developed military, with a focus that leans more towards internal security than external defense capabilities. With a power index sitting at 2.9235 and an active personnel count of around 5,000, Gabon's military is modest in size. This is partially due to the nation's stable political environment, which has not necessitated a large standing army. The military's budget, although not substantial, is sufficient for its primary role of maintaining internal security. The modest nature of Gabon's armed forces could be seen as a strategic choice, aligning with the country's broader focus on internal development and stability. The Gabonese military's limited development in terms of advanced weaponry and expansive military infrastructure can also be attributed to the country's focus on environmental conservation and sustainable development. Gabon is renowned for its commitment to preserving its extensive rainforests and biodiversity, and this environmental focus appears to influence its allocation of national resources, with less emphasis on military expansion. However, the challenges faced by Gabon's military are not negligible. The lack of significant investments in training and equipment has been a limiting factor in enhancing its operational capabilities. Furthermore, the reliance on foreign suppliers, mainly France and the United States, for military equipment, points to an area that could benefit from further development and self-sufficiency. Number 8. Madagascar. Madagascar's ranking among the weakest militaries in Africa is indicative of a broader national stance that prioritizes internal peace, security, and diplomacy over extensive military development. Madagascar's military is not only modest in size, but also faces challenges related to low morale, corruption, and limited resources. The country's military forces comprise an army of slightly over 12,000 soldiers, a navy of about 500 men, and an air force of similar size, totaling an active personnel of around 13,500. This relatively small size reflects Madagascar's focus on internal peace and security rather than external defense. The country's history and geographical isolation have played a role in shaping this military stance. Being an island nation, Madagascar has faced distinct security challenges compared to mainland African countries, with a greater emphasis on maritime security and protecting its vast coastline. Despite the modest size, the Malagasy military has faced numerous challenges, primarily related to internal issues such as low morale among troops and allegations of corruption within the ranks. These issues are compounded by the limited budget allocated to the military, which impacts the acquisition of modern equipment and the provision of adequate training to its personnel. Madagascar's military strategy also reflects the country's broader policy focus. The government has historically prioritized socio-economic development and has been more inclined towards diplomacy and international cooperation. This approach is evident in the military's role, which is more aligned with maintaining internal order and participating in peacekeeping operations rather than engaging in external conflicts. Number 9. Senegal. Senegal, though ranked among the weaker militaries in Africa, presents a unique case of a stable military in a region often fraught with instability. Senegal's military is relatively stable and has been involved in addressing various security threats in the region, reflecting a balance between maintaining internal stability and contributing to regional security. With a Prindex score of 2.7961, Senegal's military is considered weak due to factors like obsolete equipment and limited resources. Despite these challenges, the Senegalese armed forces have shown resilience and adaptability. The military's budget, as of 2018, stood at $350 million with an active personnel count of 17,000, indicating a modest but significant investment in defense. The Senegalese military's composition includes the Armée de Mer, or Navy, responsible for securing the Atlantic coastline, and an air force equipped with air-to-air combat airplanes, supporting ground forces. These components underscore the country's focus on multifaceted security challenges, ranging from maritime security to aerial defense. The strategic positioning of Senegal in West Africa adds to the importance of its military. Despite its limitations, the Senegalese military has been active in regional peacekeeping missions and has played a significant role in regional stability efforts. This involvement in peacekeeping reflects a commitment to contributing positively to the broader West African region. Furthermore, Senegal's approach to its military development is marked by a balance between managing internal challenges and engaging in regional cooperation. This dual focus has allowed Senegal to maintain a relatively stable military force, even amidst the constraints of limited resources and aging equipment. Number 10. Botswana. Botswana's position among the weaker militaries in Africa might be surprising given the country's relative political stability and economic development. However, Botswana's military strategy is more focused on maintaining internal stability and contributing to regional peacekeeping, rather than on aggressive expansion or external conflict engagement. With a defense budget of $537 million as of 2019, Botswana's military capabilities are modest. The Botswana Defense Force includes an understrength armored brigade, 2 light infantry brigades, an artillery brigade, an understrength air defense brigade, an engineering company, a signals company, and a logistics group. The composition of the military reflects a focus on versatility and adaptability, rather than sheer power or size. Botswana's strategic approach to its military development is influenced by its geopolitical context. Situated in a relatively peaceful region, the country has not faced the same security threats as some of its neighbors. This has allowed Botswana to focus its military efforts more on internal security and regional peacekeeping missions, aligning with its broader foreign policy of promoting stability and development in the southern African region. The Botswana Defense Force's engagement in regional peacekeeping missions and collaborations with countries like France, the United States, Russia, Germany, and Israel for foreign supplies demonstrates its commitment to contributing to regional stability. These international partnerships are crucial for the development of Botswana's military capabilities, providing access to training, equipment, and strategic support. Despite its modest size and capabilities, Botswana's military is well respected for its professionalism and discipline. This reputation is a testament to the country's investment in quality training and its commitment to upholding high standards within its armed forces. Number 11. Namibia. Namibia's military, ranked among the weaker in Africa, tells a story of a young nation striving to establish a robust defense force amidst various challenges. Since its independence in 1990, Namibia has been working towards building its military capabilities, but faces hurdles typical of a developing nation's defense establishment. The Namibian Defense Force, with its limited resources, has focused primarily on safeguarding national sovereignty and contributing to regional peacekeeping efforts. Namibia's strategic approach to its military development reflects its broader national and regional priorities. The country, known for its stability and peace in a region often plagued by conflict, has not faced significant external threats, allowing it to focus on internal security and development. Despite its modest size and capabilities, the Namibian military has made strides in certain areas. The country has placed emphasis on training and professional development of its forces, collaborating with international partners to enhance its military capacities. However, challenges such as budget constraints and limited access to advanced military technology continue to impede the rapid development of its armed forces. Namibia's contribution to United Nations peacekeeping missions is a notable aspect of its military strategy. These efforts not only demonstrate the country's commitment to regional stability and international cooperation, but also provide valuable experience and exposure to its military personnel. Number 12. Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso's military, considered one of the weaker in Africa, faces significant challenges in a region characterized by instability and security threats. The country's armed forces are navigating a complex landscape of internal conflict and cross-border terrorism, particularly from extremist groups in the Sahel region. The military strength of Burkina Faso is constrained by several factors, including limited resources, insufficient training, and a lack of modern equipment. These limitations are compounded by the internal security challenges the country faces, such as insurgencies and communal violence, which have stretched its military capabilities. Burkina Faso's military plays a crucial role in combating terrorism and maintaining internal stability. However, the escalating violence and growing insurgency threats in the region have put immense pressure on its armed forces. The country has been at the forefront of the regional battle against jihadist groups, requiring a military response that often exceeds its current capabilities. Despite these challenges, Burkina Faso has made efforts to strengthen its military. The country has sought international support and cooperation in its fight against terrorism, receiving assistance in terms of training and equipment from various international partners. However, the ongoing conflict and political instability, including frequent military coups, have hindered these efforts and the overall development of the military. The situation in Burkina Faso highlights the intricate connection between national security, regional stability, and military capability. The country's struggles against internal and cross-border terrorism underscore the need for a robust, well-equipped, and well-trained military. However, the realities of limited resources and political instability present significant obstacles to achieving this goal. Number 13. Eritrea. Eritrea's military, characterized as one of the weaker in Africa, is shaped by the nation's prolonged history of conflict, and an ongoing tense relationship with neighboring Ethiopia. Despite having a significant portion of its population in the armed forces, Eritrea faces challenges related to limited resources and international isolation. The Eritrean Defense Forces have been engaged in a long-standing border conflict with Ethiopia, which has heavily influenced its military strategy and resource allocation. This protracted conflict has necessitated a large standing army, but the country's economic constraints have limited its ability to modernize and equip its forces adequately. Eritrea's military also grapples with issues of international sanctions and isolation, which have further restricted its access to military technology and resources. The country has been under United Nations sanctions due to concerns about human rights and its alleged support for armed groups in the Horn of Africa, complicating its military development. Number 14. Comoros. The Comoros, an island nation in the Indian Ocean, features a military that ranks among the weaker in Africa. The country's armed forces are small and face several challenges, primarily due to limited resources, training, and equipment. Comoros's military capabilities are reflective of its small size and economic constraints. The country has a limited defense budget, which impacts its ability to maintain a well-equipped and well-trained military force. The military primarily focuses on internal security and border patrol, given the nation's geographical location and the lack of external military threats. Political instability has also been a challenge for Comoros, with a history of coups and political unrest. This instability has affected the military's development and its role in domestic affairs. The Comorian military has occasionally been involved in internal power struggles, impacting its primary role in national defense and security. Number 15. Lesotho. Lesotho's military, ranking among the weaker in Africa, reflects the challenges of a small landlocked country in maintaining a capable defense force. The Lesotho Defense Force, LDF, faces various challenges, including limited funding, outdated equipment, and the impact of political instability. Lesotho's military size and capabilities are constrained by the country's economic situation. With a limited budget allocated for defense, the LDF struggles to acquire modern military equipment and provide adequate training for its personnel. This has implications for the military's operational effectiveness and its ability to respond to internal and external security challenges. Political instability has been a significant factor affecting Lesotho's military. The LDF has been involved in domestic politics, including coups and political interventions, which have disrupted its focus on national defense and security. These internal power struggles have also led to periods of instability within the military ranks, affecting morale and discipline. Despite these challenges, Lesotho's military contributes to regional peacekeeping missions, demonstrating its commitment to maintaining regional stability. This participation in peacekeeping efforts provides valuable experience to the military personnel and highlights Lesotho's role in the broader Southern African security landscape. Overall, Lesotho's military situation is indicative of the difficulties faced by smaller, economically constrained countries in building and maintaining a robust military force. The LDF's challenges are intertwined with the nation's economic limitations and political dynamics, underscoring the complex relationship between national development and military capability.